What's up, family? It's your guy Benjamin 7, and we back again to put that work in. This is TCC, where we talk about truth, culture, and community. Unfortunately, I got another banger for you. Ex-NFL player / high school football coach has been indicted on sexual misconduct for messing with a 15-year-old girl. So, we ain't gonna be before you long, but we gonna get into this article and we gonna break this down on time, cause this is sick. Alright? A judge on Monday sentenced a former NFL player turned Bedford High School teacher and varsity football coach to 6 years in prison for sexually abusing a 15-year-old student at the high school. Sean Williams, 44, took the prestige and authority his position held in a community that prides itself academics and athletics and weaponized it to prey upon a student nearly 3 decades his junior. The girl sat in the back of the courtroom with her head on her mother's shoulder during the exchange. The mother, who implored the judge to sentence Williams to prison, wept when Sinine Bird, who was the judge, announced her sentence and deputies placed Williams in handcuffs. Williams pled guilty in June to 4 counts of sexual battery that accused him of abusing the girl several times in October. The conviction labels him as a Tier 3 sex offender, the most serious under Ohio law, and requires him to register his address as a sex offender every 90 days for the rest of his life. Williams faced anywhere from probation to 2 decades behind bars. The school hired Williams in 2010 as a head football coach and special education teacher. He is a Bedford graduate who played defensive back at Ohio University and briefly played in the NFL for the Carolina Panthers and Kansas City Chiefs. Prosecutors said the girl began studying alone with Williams in his classroom around that time, and Williams began having sexual conversations with her. He told her that she would have been his girlfriend if she was 18, prosecutors said. He bought the girl underwear from Victoria's Secret, assaulted her in his classroom, and took her to a Motel 8 where he abused her more, prosecutors said. This brother was a teacher, supposedly up in school, giving the young brothers and the young girls guidance in life. He's supposed to be helping them get to the next level. And this brother out here helping himself on a 15-year-old. This judge really got into him. I'm gonna play a couple clips from the sentencing and I'm gonna let y'all check it out.
The person that you have here and his supporters, they describe the public him. That's the one that folks would describe as a nice guy. He loves kids, he'd do anything for them that he could. The problem is, the public him is oftentimes overshadowed by the private him, causing him to do and say some pretty horrific things to kids. The fact that he likes and is sexually attracted to little girls is a secret that is typically not shared with other adults. Otherwise, he'd be seen very differently. My daughter wasn't staying after school or coming in early. She was going about her normal day as every other student, 7:30 to 2:30. Being a high honor roll student, being an athlete, having appropriate fun as a 15-year-old should, and trying to have some level of social acceptance from her peers. As a parent, I should never have to worry about my child being sexually assaulted, and certainly not while she's in school under the care of what I assume to be responsible adults.
Before we get to the meat and potatoes, because the judge went in on him, you just saw the young girl's mom stand up and, say what she said. And I understand that's hurtful to have a predator like this man do all these things to your daughter. I get it. But this is TCC, where we talk about truth, culture, and community. The truth is, as parents, we gotta stop being so naive. Somebody answer me this. There have been some people who have went through the schooling system and became what society classifies as successful. You graduated high school, you went through college, you got a good job. Hooray. But for the majority of us, the schooling system ain't helped nobody. But yet, we're so zealous to send our kids there in hopes that the school system got my child's best interests at heart. And we see in the supposed black community that that's not true. The schooling system didn't work for me. It didn't work. Even though I went to school enough that I can get a job and try to take care of my family, the schooling system did not work for me. It actually did me more harm than good. Facts. But we send our children to school with the belief the people at the school gonna care about your child just as much as you do. And I'm saying, as parents, we gotta wisen up. This situation could have been avoided if we paid a little more attention to what is coming into our house and what we're sending our child outside to be entertained by. You don't know people. You don't know what they do in their private lives. When you see them in public, that's the better them. You know what I mean? Like, when they leave work, they really showing their true colors. Like, you don't know people. You really don't know people. So to be naive to send your child somewhere and think that people are going to look out for her and care for her and have her best interest at heart or his best interest at heart, that's a bit naive. That's why I homeschool, and I will always be homeschooling. Period. I'm not sending my child to no schooling system with people I don't know and think that they gonna take care of my child like I would. Not around here. Nope. Because what's even more interesting, in the area that I stay in, Cleveland, Ohio, another teacher at East Tech High School has also been convicted of sleeping with young girls. 3 girls to be exact. I got a daughter. I ain't sending my daughter to no school where these perverted teachers acting like they teaching lesson plans and looking at the girls when they go to the chalkboard and stuff. Man, yeah, right. Not around here. I ain't gonna be that naive. I'm not sending my kid nowhere thinking that someone is going to care for my child. It just don't work like that. Most children get molested at family members' house. They don't even make it to school. You getting molested over cousin such and such house. Like, you think I'm like, no. We have to be set apart and aware of the illnesses that are in this world and stop being so naive. Because this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Sending your kid to public school thinking that they're going to be all right. This is the worst case scenario, molestation by a teacher. But you got violence, you got peer pressure, you got all these different children coming from all these walks of life, living any old type of way, and pressuring your child to fit in with that. So even if your child wasn't as bad or ain't bad when she leave the crib, when she get to the school, she basically got to conform. It ain't too many children who willing to be set apart unless you teach them how to be set apart. Now let's get into some of the video of the judge and how she walked this dude down. Cause I gotta salute the judge. She really did a good job. And side note, for y'all who think can't nobody judge y'all but God, I got a video on the channel. I'm gonna put the link in the description so y'all can check it out. Cause this lady, she judged it and she did a good job. I don't know what she do in her personal life, but she judged based off of the law that's set up that say no adult should be messing with no minor. And bruh's gonna get his just due. Check it out.
I wanted to make sure that it's understood that I clearly take full responsibility for all actions in this situation.
Well, then I'd like you to explain why you told that pre-sentence writer, who I happened to speak with because I noticed a typo in the report, and he went on to tell me that you told him nothing happened. And in this pre-sentence report, you denied any sexual involvement whatsoever.
As I said to him, I took full responsibility.
That's not what I told you what he said you said to him, and I'm telling you what the pre-sentence report reflects you said to him. I'm asking you to explain that today. You said, he wrote, quote, he denies sexually assaulting her. He reserved a hotel room for some of his players for homecoming. He was alone. Actually, it said the victim was alone in the hotel room with her, and I thought that he meant the defendant, and that's why I called the author of the pre-sentence report, and he said he meant to write the defendant was alone in the hotel room with her, and he admits to kissing her on the forehead. He denies any sexual involvement with her. And when I contacted the author of the pre-sentence report regarding a typo, he just proffered to me that you said nothing happened. And are you denying that today?
I just wanted to make sure that it is understood I'm taking full responsibility for all actions in this whole situation.
Please answer my question.
Yes.
Is that what you said to the PO?
Yes.
Why?
The question that he asked, when he asked me, that was my response to him.
Okay, so right after pleading guilty in 4 counts of sexual battery, you report to a probation officer and deny any sexual involvement. And then you go on to tell him that you value honesty. So somewhere here, you said something that wasn't true. And if you are...
I understood this question.
Well, there's no misunderstanding your response. He denied any sexual involvement. What I'm asking you is why you would say that.
I thought like he was speaking on that day. And that's what I was asking.
Oh, you thought he was asking if you had any sexual involvement with her on the day of the change of plea?
No.
Lying never pays off. It's always gonna find you out. If you out here lying, know that you can't lie forever. My man thought he was gonna get off. He thought he wasn't gonna get indicted and all that. So he was out here lying. Now, when the walls is closing in on him, now he talking about, I just want to take full responsibility for what I did. You know what I mean? I take full responsibility. No, the judge wants you to explain why you did what you did. Stumbling and bumbling all over his words and carrying on. Now you trying to look all dignified and you know, I learned from my mistakes and you know we all deserve a second chance. Like, bro, you should have thought about that before you did it. This is why we need instruction in our lives to tell us right from wrong. It's crazy how people get of age and just think they can do what the heck they want to. Adults need instruction too. This brother clearly needed some instruction to say, don't do that, because he must have forgot. He must have forgot you can talk to young chicks. You 44 and you messing with a 15-year-old. Apparently he didn't know. He needed to be instructed to say, brother, you don't mess with young girls like that, man. He needed instruction. We need to be retrained to follow standards and guidelines, laws, statutes, because our people, we just don't got that concept, and it's unfortunate. And look at the brother's lawyer as he stands next to him and tries to defend him. How you gonna try to defend this type of foolishness? When somebody do something that's so wicked and evil, like messing with a minor, and you almost 50 years old, you should have no defense. Nobody should defend you. I know they say you gotta have a lawyer or whatever. It should be certain crimes that we can't defend you, dog. You gotta stand up there on your own and take your own judgment. Cause I ain't about to be looking dumb trying to defend no foolishness like this. Look at the attorney that's with this guy, man. Check it out.
Your Honor, if we follow the memorandum and the order, and Your Honor, if you look at Mr. Williams' life as a whole versus looking at it, if you isolate this matter with this young lady, and Your Honor, I'm from a family of educators. My daughter is a teacher at Bedford High School. My wife is a retired educator. My daughter's in the courtroom, my other daughter's in the courtroom right now. So we get it, we understand it, Your Honor. The value of the relationship between educators and students. That was breached. No question about it. A crime has been committed. No question about that, Your Honor. And he pled to 4 crimes in this matter. But I'm just saying, Your Honor, if you look at his life isolated to this situation versus looking at his life over the entire 44 years. And we just heard, you know, and we understand. I'm a parent as well. I'm a grandparent. So I heard everything that she said, and I understand. And I'm so sorry that this happened to her daughter. It shouldn't happen to anybody's daughter, anybody's child. It should not happen. But it did. So, Your Honor, where do we go from here? I'm just saying to you, Your Honor, I think my memorandum tried to say, looking at his life as a whole, again, Your Honor, no prior criminal history. 17 years as a track coach, 18 years in education, structuring young men to get their lives together, getting 3 young men to play in the National Football League, and Coach of the Year on all the years that we indicated in my memorandum. Coach of the Year, Your Honor, in 2013, 2014, Cleveland Browns Coach of the Year.
Y'all see him trying to name drop accolades and carrying on. Nah, bro, we don't want to hear about none of that, what you did in the past and all that. If this is what you're doing in your present, all of them little accolades is null and void. It don't matter how many kids you put through college. It don't matter none of that. That's now null and void. You negated all of that with your bad behavior, your bad judgment. You should have been thinking, bro. I don't care if your title say pastor, judge, coach, teacher, co-worker. I don't care what you say you is, policeman. I'm not trusting you unless you follow the instructions of the Creator that will show you to be righteous. I'm not trusting you. You can tell a person by the fruit that they bear. You gonna bear fruit by the seeds that you plant. It's that simple. This brother was planting some foul seeds, walking around like an upstanding citizen. But yet, he was out here molesting girls or wanting to molest girls, and it came to fruition. And this is what we see. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with your guy today. Excuse my passion, but I don't like sick stuff like this. This is sick. This is sick. If you an adult and you looking at young girls and you got all these nasty little thoughts, or you a woman and you looking at young boys and you got all these nasty little thoughts in your mind, you need your mind regenerated, renewed, because it's certain standards, man, that we should all be living by, man. And we shouldn't have to put our cat eye out on people because you know they ain't living right. Like, let's just stop. Let's just do right by one another. Would you want some teacher or some coach or some doing something to your daughter? So why you out here doing it to somebody else? It's just sick. I'm your guy, Benjamin 7. This is TCC, and I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Understand I'm not just trying to hit y'all with hot takes and what's the latest, whatever. Like, no. Whatever I present y'all with, I present it in hopes that it'll make us think and return or want to return closer to our Creator. And I know it's a process, but we got to start somewhere. So, thank y'all for hanging out. Thank y'all for chilling with me. I really appreciate it. Much love, much respect. Shalom.